Welcome to the world of UX, user experience. What I noticed as I was looking for something to do my research paper topic on, because there are so many fun things that we've learned, is that from the user's perspective, we really haven't learned to evaluate our user experience-driven initiatives. That sounds a little odd, but let me see if I can explain it to you and the things that I found out. So far, most of our contact with users regarding our UX work is at the front end. We are asking users who they are, we're looking at demographics, we're studying our user community. And we're also, in order to design our UX services, we're taking the advice of experts. Aaron Schmidt and his blog, or his, periodic column in Library Journal called User Experience has been super helpful to me. What I found, though, is again that we are taking advice from UX experts, as it were. There are UX librarians, and we're incorporating that advice into our work. The problem with that is that we are then stopping there for the most part. We're missing the real experts who will tell us how to measure how well we're doing with our UX initiatives, and those experts are the users themselves. The initial research done with users is only the beginning. And once you're in with UX, if we really commit to user experience-driven services and products, if you want to call them that, you're in. It's 100%, and we must constantly be in responsive communication with our users. We have to evaluate our UX services in a UX manner, and that's really a challenge. So the question is, what would that look like? Luckily, scholarship and practice for the past 25 years in library and information science, and also in many other fields, has really brought us a lot of experience and expertise that we can start learning from. There are the two, I think, really important pieces to keep in mind. If we are to evaluate, again, our own user experience services from a user's point of view, are that there are really two parts of the user's experience. One is functional, and this is all part of what I learned through my research. Part of their experience is a functional piece. How do the chairs feel? How is the light in the room? How long does it take me to find my materials? How friendly are the librarians? These things that are functional pieces, and we might say that there are things we can observe, as Schmidt suggests that we do, simply by watching. We can watch our users look at our new signs. We can watch our users move and fidget because the chairs are super uncomfortable, these things. There are also, however, non-functional aspects to our user's experience that are much harder to get to, much harder to evaluate and understand. Those are things such as the emotional, the interior experience. When a user comes to a reference librarian with a question, we're trying to understand, if we really are doing UX evaluation of UX service, we're trying to understand, how does that user feel when he or she leaves? Is that user experiencing really a tiny transformation, or a large one, by coming to our library and working with our staff, working with us? That's really what librarians are getting at these days, in my view, with user experience. What is the real life-changing moment that's happening in a library? You might call these non-functional and functional aspects of the user's experience. You might also think of them as external and internal aspects. There are external things that we can evaluate simply by watching. There are internal aspects to that experience that we need somehow to mine from the users. And the question then that I was led to is, how are we going to mine that information without driving our users completely insane? How many focus groups, interviews, surveys, which are our main ways of collecting qualitative data, how many of these can users put up with without absolutely feeling like, forget it, I'm not even getting what I need because you're driving me so crazy trying to give you feedback? And also a lot of that feedback, because it's directly with the librarian, is unfortunately, unconsciously designed to please the librarian. And what we really want to know is what's happening in there, other than the external pieces. What I found I found a lot of different pieces. One of the most exciting possibilities that I wanted to share with you and that I plan to use in my 7th through 12th grade library is from the world of cell phone product design. One marketing company that I read about did an experiment wherein they collected user experience data using Twitter. So cool. Basically, Twitter can be an embedded recording device or system that the users can tune into for 140 characters only. It's a quick record. It's not something they have to sit down for half an hour. It's not a form they need to fill out. It's a quick check-in that users can use to let us know how they're enjoying or not enjoying our services and resources. It's an instant feedback method. It means that while the user is actually in the library, sitting in the chair, trying to find a resource, he or she, when they have agreed to participate in the survey, can do that very quickly, and it elicits a lot of emotional response. This marketing researcher has found. We can ask them questions. Also, the librarians can pose questions on the Twitter account. Are you in the library right now? Did you visit the library today? If you are, did you speak to a librarian? What was your experience like? Did you leave feeling satisfied? Did you feel dismissed? We can prompt the users with these questions. I should back up and tell you briefly the setup that the market researchers designed, and that is that a group of users would be asked to participate, would be asked to, these are users we hope who would be pretty facile with technology. However, one doesn't have to be super techno-literate in order to use Twitter. It's not only on smartphones, it's also on our computers, as we've all seen this semester. So the librarian gathers a group of users, and it can be a very large group. That's another really neat, I think, aspect of using Twitter to record the user's real experience of their library and their librarians. So you gather a group of users, ask them to participate if they agree, which of course probably that meeting would involve donuts and coffee. So if they agree, then they are asked to check the Twitter account maybe once or twice a day and respond any number of times as they like. What we're noticing here too is that we have a written record of their experiences the minute they post them. All of that is recorded in our Twitter account. How cool. Okay, so we then prompt them with questions throughout the day. They respond, and I think one of the really most exciting pieces that the product design folks noticed is that the most exciting and dynamic and passionate exchanges that they saw evolving as they were watching the tweets come along were when the designers threw out a possibility. We were thinking of, say it's the librarian, we were thinking of opening an hour earlier in the day and maybe closing an hour later. What do you think? Kind of big deals. And the users, in the case of the product design folks, started talking to each other, which is where we really get at the core of what it is they are experiencing in their library. One could pose, we're thinking of putting great big signs in our nonfiction section. about the topics that are covered on that shelf. What do you think? Would it be helpful? Is it a waste of time? Again, the users are able to respond with some anonymity. We could tell them they're welcome to use a username that isn't their own, and they can give us real responses. So when they talk with one another again, that's one of the core pieces that seems so exciting about this way of gathering real UX responses to UX services. So again, this has been a really exciting research project for me, and I'm hoping to put it together in my school library. I think the kids will have a lot of fun with it. And I'll be glad to let everybody know on my own Twitter account how things are going. I am at Ellen Cothran. Take care. Thanks. Bye.